the essence of what God is in truth. Not the physical manifestation of it, but the purity of it. So when you, my dear little friend, look at your pure, beautiful spirit, that is who you are looking at. So which is why, friend, you do not need a guru. You only need yourself.
So this is, I mean, obviously a lot of people listening to this feel extremely separate and find it hard to even think that they are actually the creator or they are God. And it's very hard for humans to put themselves in a much higher perspective, to even think that they are, the creator as such.
Yes, but that is actually, my dear friend, because of the fact that human beings think of in terms of their serfdom, in terms of how lowly they are, how worth less they feel of themselves. I am saying that is the biggest mistake you are ever going to make, that you feel worthless or that you deride someone else, you make judgments upon someone else because of their clothes or the kind of hair that they have, or perhaps the persona that they create upon their walk of life. I am saying that every single being need not fear anyone else, because you are all a part of the infinite whole. Therefore, it's not that it should deplete you or worry you or create fear within you. It should make you happy to feel that you are really so complete. And it's a matter for you to find that completeness. That is all that is required in the whole and entirety of your life. That is all that is required for you to become complete.
I mean, I do attempt exercises myself on this, actually, where I look at consciousness as like a focus. And I think I mentioned this in one of the other podcasts, is that you can either focus on the leaf or you can focus on the entire view of what you're seeing. And it's almost like when I see things that are negative happening around me, I try to put myself way above that and try and think of it from a much broader perspective. And it's really, I mean, it's kind of strange that you really feel the love and the oneness.
Yes.
You feel the warmth and the glow, and
Yes.
almost momentarily you lose yourself and become blended, almost.
Yes, of course.
And that's all it is, isn't it?
Yes, being in the state of bliss, friend, finding it and keeping it there, that's the secret. That is the little acts that you have to do through your daily meditation, through your CC status, that you understand of yourself, not for the little will that you have, but for the beautiful being that you are.
So the key is moving away from separation, isn't it? To try and
Yes.
really start to believe that we are connected and that we are
Yes.
part of the one infinite intelligence.
Absolutely, because you are.
Yes. And there's no limitation. It's almost like
No.
we can be limited in physical life, and it's easy for people to be limited in that way. But it's also, we shouldn't also limit ourselves in spirit also.
That is true.
So
Yes.
from your perspective, how do you feel that you can be, how expanded do you feel you can go? Or do you feel you can be completely and utterly one with all that is?
Well, my dear friend, sometimes I have to decompartmentalize myself. I have to illuminate myself so that I can be in different places at the same time. So that there is not an every when or a never when in my vocabulary or in my self-structure, if you like, of consciousness. Not self-structure in the terms of physical state, but in consciousness state. So that I can be in many different places at one point of necessity as deemed by others who require my attention. That means to say then, I do not feel fractionated, I do not feel torn apart by any of that. I feel loved because other people want to try something, want to gain something from our communication together, however that makes itself manifest. I'm not saying that at this moment in time I'm necessarily drawn away to do something else. Many people in the spirit world are actually able to do that, to be able to fractionate themselves into different authorities, into different ways of acting, and being at one with each of those, particularly within healing, within helping others, within bringing the consciousness to light, by bringing the consciousness into awareness of so many other people. People, for example, who are torn asunder by some activity in physical life. I'm not just talking about people either. I'm talking about animals too. All of those creatures that pass because they become food for something else. All of those situations have to be remedied and dealt with and made well.
Thank you very much. Just one more question before we wrap the show up. It sort of leads on from what you're saying. Now, I'm very conscious of using labels. You know, us humans love to use labels, and perhaps they're not always correct, because I think a label is something that defines separation and boundaries, really.
Yes, correct.
So I was just trying to, obviously we have labels that kind of tie into what you're saying around what we class as the higher self, or even another concept of an oversoul, where perhaps you have a soul that's almost like a diamond with many facets, and each of those facets can also experience across different dimensions and space, or different realities, if you like. But it's almost like the oversoul is the I suppose the energy that brings it all together, all the experiences. I mean, is that something that you're describing, or am I doing a poor job of that?
Oh, my dear friend, do not belittle yourself. My point here really is that what you are describing is in fact the essence of the soul group. That means there may be many thousands of different beings who are a part of that soul group, that soul intention, which is the authority or direction of the core essence of being that you are, and that all beings are within that particular soul group. So it's a soul energy. But the point is that human beings have illuminated wrongly what they feel soul is. Soul is, in fact, in the physical journey, becomes just purely a partition of emotion, and is the creation of emotion in one lifetime. Therefore, the soul which illuminates, or is carried then by the constructive prisms of what you create as a physical being, then illuminates the actual pathway you can make once you are in the spirit world, so that all that you are, all that you create within your one single life journey becomes manifest, the actual, if you like, the actual taxi of the spirit, and then enables you to visit certain places or parameters of which your vibration index allows. That is the sum total of your emotional level. What you've created, love you've created, breath of life you've created, wellness within others, awareness within others, within yourself. All of these facets are manifestations of the given purity of which you are a part. It's just that for human level and human thinking, they have to, because of the laws of proximity, prevaricate over one and one. That is, the place where you are at point A relative to point B, which always has to be diametrically either opposing or in neutral or working in parallel to you. You can either see it, but you cannot touch it or sense it or smell it. You can feel it, yes, because it's a different sense. And yet, human beings find it so difficult to feel more than one sensation at any one time from the emotion which comes from your soul you have created in physical life. This is actually because of the difficulty human beings have over the parameters of one-on-one and the law of proximity as it dictates in your present time.
So just to sum up, one last thing, how would you advise people to just be in their flow, try and connect and be their higher self?
Let go. Let go of all those thoughts and feelings you've ever had of yourself or what you think you are. They are manifestations of your conscious mind. They are not necessarily the solidarity of your spirit. What you need to do is let go of your consciousness so that you can once again gain control over it, not it gaining control over you. That is the secret to finding your spirit within.
So wonderful message there, Gregory. I'd like to end it there now for this week.
Thank you so. Then with love and light, my dear friend, blessings be upon your pathway.
Thank you very much for listening to the show. Again, if you've enjoyed this show and you want to listen to more podcasts on a similar subject or more on the journeys into consciousness, then please visit www.thespiritguides.co.uk/radio.